about your professional education background?
Sure. Okay. Well, first of all, I guess somebody had seen any of my signs, or I guess my motto is that just vote. And that pretty much tells me, or tells you about who I am. And you know, when I think about the public service that I've done, in 1973, I was a high school kid, and I was a junior, and I didn't really know what I was planning on doing, so I knew I wanted to have some excitement. I knew I wanted to travel, and I knew that I wanted to make a difference. So I enlisted in the Army, and Vietnam was going on, but it was pretty much winding down at the time. And that's, I went into enlisted, and then got out for a while, went to college, got out of college for a while, started working for the railroad, and then went to join the National Guard, got my commission through the North Dakota National Guard up in Grand Forks. Was with the Guard for a while, got out, worked, continued to work, and then I got in reserve and got real intense. And through that time, I got involved in all the aspects of city building, real estate, infrastructures, master planning, structural design, civil, environmental, electrical, engineering, and had the opportunity through the military really to make a difference over in Baghdad. We hit the ground, crossed the berm with third ideas, they say, and then when shooting stopped, then they decided to rebuild the city, and we got involved in that. A kid from North Dakota was the first, got the first contract for the restructuring of the infrastructure, and then after that he got pretty good friends with some of the local Iraqi contractors, and then he went on and got a job designing the major base camps in Baghdad. The largest base camp in Iraq and Afghanistan right now is Liberty, and there's a lake named after the original master plan. It's got a lake called Lake North Dakota. And he had on his team, he had 8 guys on his team, and 3 of them had kids, and we named the streets after. They didn't last very long. You know, you can imagine a tanker taking his unit down Teresa Drive or Chris Ann Road, but the signs went up, and of course they went down. But then after that, I got tasked to come up with standard designs for base camps of 5,000 for both Iraq and Afghanistan. And some kid from North Dakota authored the standard design for the base camps and 5,000, and went through a lot of different things. Spent from 2004 to 2008, he got over 200,000 miles of flight time. And I still kept my full-time job on the railroad as a yardmaster. So that was kind of my community service, but really, as like I said, whenever I got off the plane, people would say, well, hey, thanks for your service, and my response was, well, thanks for paying for it. And that's really what it's all about. You folks here, all the taxpayers, they paid for the education, and so that's kind of the reason that I'm running right now. Actually, it's a major reason I'm running right now is I feel that I'm qualified, but when I look across the spectrum of all the other candidates, I know they're all just as qualified and all just as committed. So I'm here to give it a shot, and I believe that lowering the taxes through growth is the key. More growth in the city, that means more taxes coming in, that means less per individual. And I have a great deal of respect for the independent businessmen in the private sector. My father had a laundry and dry cleaners for 40 years in Jamestown. When he got leukemia, eventually passed away, I ended up running his business for a couple of years. I was still working on the railroad, still in the National Guard and as an officer at the time. But it worked out okay. My wife and I did that. And what we ended up doing was I came to the realization, my dad used to tell me a long time ago, he'd take me out and we'd deliver clothes or we'd pick up laundry. And then afterwards, he'd always take me down to the ditch. It's a pool hall that was below our cleaning place there. And then he'd say, well, okay, we're going to play some snooker for for your wages. And I'd say, Dad, can you spot me some points? every time I come down here, I end up working for free. And he says, well, you don't get the spot points when you're working. And as he said, he used to tell me, and that's where I get the respect for all the people in the private sector, is that about business. He says, you know, Chris, he says, if you do everything right, everything is perfect, you know, everything all falls into play. You got all your payroll squared away, you got all your sales squared away, everybody's paying their bills on time. Still doesn't mean that you're going to make payroll at the end of the month. And so with that, you folks in the chamber and private businessmen, I have a great deal of respect for you. You are the entrepreneurs, you're the people that make this city work and really make this country work. And going back to the same thing, thanks for paying for it. And I hope that I can have a little bit of impact in the city to help out the growth of the community and the private sector. I don't know if I probably missed a few things, but don't worry.
We'll have more questions, Christopher.
Don't worry.
We'll get back to things. Brad, you want?
All right. My name is Brad Feldman, and I've been a resident in Bismarck for the last 15 years. My family moved here when I was in high school and spent 4 years here before graduating from St. Mary's High School in 1999. After high school, I decided to move on and go to college at Minnesota State University, Moorhead, where I always had the dream of pursuing a career in broadcast journalism. And after 4 years, I was able to achieve that dream. And for the last 7 years, I've spent working as a reporter, covering business and city issues in Bismarck for KX News. And they were probably 7 of the best years of my life, getting a chance to meet a lot of people, get their stories, share their stories with people who've never heard them before. And it was a really rewarding career for myself. And there's days I look back and kind of wish I was still doing it, but I know I'm kind of in a better place now. So while I was in college, I met my wife, Nicole. We moved back here, hoping to start a family soon. But the one thing I would say is Bismarck is a great place. We have a lot to offer to the people that live here. I had numerous opportunities to leave this community, and for some reason, I just couldn't. So that's one of the reasons I really want to serve the people of this community, is because I do realize that there's a lot of great things here, and there's a lot of things that we could improve on. So that's basically one of the big reasons that I have decided to run for the city commission. As far as public service, I don't have a real long background in public service. I was appointed by Mayor Warford to the 2010 Complete Count Census Committee, which was a lot of fun to try to get the message out as the importance of filling out your census forms. And I think we're seeing the results now as one of the top places where people are responding. So I guess that's basically